Well, hello fine chaps, welcome back to the channel. If you can't tell, I'm having a lot of fun with this app. Anyways, sometimes when playing Dungeons & Dragons, you and your party can meticulously plan your next moves in a tense situation. And sometimes those plans can become foobar very quickly. Much like the events in this next funny D&D horror story. All the standard YouTube stuff. Liking, subscribing, clicking the bell, yada yada yada. With all that being said, let's hop right into the story. Thanks to Reddit user ElectroBrine for allowing me to narrate his story. The link to the original post will be located in the description. Waterdeep Dragon Heist Shenanigans. This is going to be my first time posting here, as I normally don't have anything I would deem interesting enough to warrant making a post. This week's session was different. Be warned, there might be some mild spoilers for the Waterdeep Dragon Heist module, so if you want to play that totally blind, you have been warned. The session starts with the party using a Nimblewright finder to search for the Nimblewright that took the Stone of Galore from the Growlhund Manor. They eventually find the Nimblewright and begin to interrogate it. After a little while of asking questions, the rogue, named Randall Dundragon, decided to cast Disguise Self to look like Mrs. Growlhund, to trick the Nimblewright into leading them to where it took the stone. So the Nimblewright leads them to Grinda's residence in Mistshore. This is where the shenanigans begin. They come to find 5 bandits trying to knock down Grinda's door, and after one of the fighters, named Eron Wiglum, exchanges some fighting words with the bandit captain, combat begins. It starts with Eron Wiglum and the paladin, named Fiven, laying into our bandit captain. Now, the sorcerer, named Sir Issikvanter, takes his turn and he casts Burning Hands, which roasts the 4 bandits that failed their saves to a crisp, does some light damage to the bandit captain, and also hurts Eron Wiglum and Fiven. But Sir Issikvanter is a wild magic sorcerer, so he turns into a potted plant in the process. Randall then spends his turn casting Mage Hand to lift the now potted plant sorcerer into the air so that it will fall on the bandit captain's head. So then it rolls around to Sir Issikvanter's turn again, and he now changes back from being a potted plant. But that also means Mage Hand can't support him anymore, so he falls. While falling, Sir Issikvanter casts Lightning Lure to pull the bandit captain, that is currently fighting Fiven, up into the air and suplex them down into the ground, except for a wild magic, which once again activates, turning Sir Issikvanter back into Sir Potted Plant. The bandit captain falls on his face and dies from the fall, since he was already super low in HP right in front of Fiven. And since Sir Issikvanter is now a potted plant, he takes double damage from the fall, making him take 26 damage after falling on Fiven below, which is slightly over his current HP, putting Issikvanter into death saves. With combat now over, Fiven puts some HP back into Issikvanter to pick him back up, while also using what's left to bring up his HP a little bit. Now Randall Dundragon, still disguised as Mrs. Growlhund, tries to get into Grinda's house. The door is locked, and he heard Grinda yell at him to go away, so he tries to pick the lock. One successful lockpick later, and Randall Dundragon gets a face full of firebolt and a door slammed in his face. So Randall Dundragon does the only logical thing in that situation. Climb onto the roof and tear it apart to throw a Molotov cocktail inside the tiny house. While this is happening, Eron Wiglum, Fiven, our second fighter named Fenrau, and Sir Issikvanter prepare to bust in through a side door on Grinda's house, SWAT team style. Randall Dundragon throws his Molotov cocktail in through the roof, lighting the entire room ablaze, causing Grinda to run out the front door. Moments after, our SWAT team busts through the side door to find the entire room a fiery inferno. Fortunately, Sir Issikvanter has a decanter of endless water and puts the room out. While that is happening, Randall Dundragon has leapt from the roof and tackled Grinda to the ground. He calls for some help from the rest of the party, which gets shortly answered by Eron Wiglum, who, in full chainmail, decides to doggy pile on top of Randall Dundragon and Grinda. Sir Issikvanter then searches the room he just put out and finds a small chest. He successfully picks the lock and activates the explosive runes on the chest. This turns the little hut into a large ball of fire, and Sir Issikvanter gets cooked crispy and is thrown on death saves. Fiven survives with a single HP, and Eron Wiglum, being on top of the doggy pile, takes the full damage to try and shield his ally from the blast. Randall Dundragon gets shielded from most of the damage thanks to Iran, and Fen Rao rolls a nat 20 on his dex save so he hardly takes any damage at all. Fortunately, Fiven still has some healing spells, so he gets Sir Isikvanter out of death saves again. While that happens, Iran is tying up the now unconscious Grinda and asks Randall Dundragon if he should break her bones so she can't escape. Questioning that lawful good alignment there, Iran, they decide not to break her bones, thank goodness, and instead take their new guest, Grinda, back to the Troll Skull to ask questions later. They all then take a long rest and end the session there. Oh boy, was that a session. I wonder where the fancy Doge went. Well, anyways, all those events seemed like something straight out of a sitcom. Everything going wrong yet right at the same time. Like some sort of twisted Rube Goldberg machine. Have you ever had shenanigans like this happen during your games? If so, I would love to hear about them in the comments. Also, if you have any stories you would like to hear narrated on the channel, you can always go to the channel subreddit r/DnDDoge. And be sure to follow me over on Twitter at DnDDoge, where I post memes and stuff. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of you, and may all of your rolls be natural 20. Until next time.